Greetings, thanks for checking into the Friday 13th YouTube channel, Metalheads. Thanks for your support. Today you're going to be listening to a live concert review accomplished by photos of Saxon, U.D.O and Untamed Silence. And the show took place on the 8th of November at Sheffield Octagon here in the UK. So the opening act for this evening would be a band called Untamed Silence, originally formed back in 2019. The band would mix a unique blend of hard rock with prog and metal elements. Now, this four-piece band from the UK will be fronted by a female vocalist under the name of Demi, along with drummer Ryan Wayne Smith, along with bassist Nigel W. Bennion, and guitarist David Jones. So that will be the lineup for Untamed Silence. Now, I have to say, I've not heard this band before, and I was very intrigued to hear the band's music and see them live. Now, I wasn't sure what to expect when they first hit the stage, and looking at the band's image, I was kind of thinking they were going to be some kind of gothic band. However, they weren't. They were just a good hard rock band with probably some slight elements of goth, some dark ambient synthesizers and samples. Now, these guys have recently released their first EP and a single called The Game, which has had over 21k views on Spotify. And according to the band's biography, the band singer Debbie, vocals will be compared to Debbie Harry, Stevie Nicks, and even Pet Benatar, just to name a few. Now, watching these guys live, they had the presence of the gothic image. Now, having watched this band, Untamed Silence, the band played about a 25-minute set. The band have a presence of a goth image, with the band playing more hard rock. I would have to compare them to slight elements of the Dead Daisies. I guess you could also say the heavy edge of Led Zeppelin, and also bands like Thunder. And as the band were about to hit the stage, they had a warm welcome from the audience. And this was a really good band to warm the audience, getting ready for the next act, U.D.O, and then the headliners, Saxon. Vocalist Debbie was very interactive with the crowd, and the band did a really good performance. I guess it could be quite intimidating to be in front of an audience full of Saxon and U.D.O fans. However, this didn't stop the band from playing some great hard rock from start to finish. And so the full set list for Untamed Silence would be Long Time Dead, The Power, Requiem, Hardship, Nowhere, and the last one would be called Dead Speak. So that was a set list for Untamed Silence. Now, if you've not heard these guys before, I'm going to leave you a link so you can check out some of the videos and music on YouTube or even Spotify. Now, I wish these guys all the best in the future, and I hope they do an album very soon. Now, next to hit the stage will be the one and only U.D.O. This is Udo Dirkschneider, formerly with the band Accept. Now, U.D.O has a very distinct voice. Since the formation of Accept, U.D.O would record their debut album Accept back in 1979. This was a great debut album and would be considered similar to that of the Scorpions, Saxon, and Judas Priest. This successful debut album was followed by the band's next album back in 1980 called I'm a Rebel, and in 1981, Breaker would be released. Back in 1982, the band would release their cult classic album, Restless and Wild. Now, folks, if you don't own this album, you really need to get it. It's one of the best albums they've done and features probably the first thrash song or one of the first few thrash songs, Fast as a Shark, which today is still as heavy as hell. With the success of the Restless and Wild album, the band would do the next album, Balls to the Wall, back in 1983, and this would be followed by the Metal Heart album in 1985. And the last album that U.D.O would record with Accept was called Russian Roulette, released back in 1986. Now, sadly, U.D.O left the band to continue writing songs for his own band, U.D.O. Like I said, U.D.O would form his own band back in 1987 and would release their debut album, Animal House, back in 1987. And this album was originally wrote for the next Accept album. U.D.O saw this as a fantastic stepping stone and to move on with his new band, U.D.O. Like Accept, U.D.O has also had lots of lineup changes. In total, the band have released 19 previous albums, and still in the traditional vein of German heavy metal, featuring the heaviness of Judas Priest, Accept, and the melodic vibe of such bands as Saxon. Like I said, the album Animal House was a fantastic debut, and this was followed by the album Mean Machine back in 1989. and having different lineup changes really does make the music fresh, heavy, yet melodic. Now, folks, I'm very, very curious to know what your favourite Udo album is. Please leave me a comment. Let me know what you think is your favourite album. I've got to say, for me, Unholy is a great album, followed by Steelhammer and Steel Factory. In 2025, Udo releases his new album. It's called Babylon, Dirkschneider and Old Gang. And for this tour, Udo will be doing the album Balls to the Wall. Now, guys, if you've not seen Udo live, this is a fantastic time to go and catch him. He's a brilliant performer and he has some amazing musicians. So the lineup for the current Udo lineup would be Udo Dirkschneider on vocals. We'd have his son Sven Dirkschneider on drums. We'd have Demi on guitars, Peter Bales on bass, formerly with Accept, and new guitarist Alan Brantani on guitars. And tonight was a special performance as Udo will be playing the full album, Balls to the Wall in its entirety. And like I said, this is a fantastic album back in the day. So I was really excited to hear these songs live and watch the band go balls out with a full album. Now, I've seen Udo live several times in the past, and he's a fantastic performer. He really does get the crowd going. And the band on this tonight's performance were absolutely ready to hit the stage and to show us UK metalheads just what the band had installed. So the band would hit the stage with the opening track, Balls to the Wall. This was an absolute fantastic song. This was a fantastic song, great opening song. The band put 100% into it and played the song very heavy and tight, followed by the song London Leather Boys. For me, this is a really great song on the album. It's very catchy, very melodic, but it has a heavy, groovy riff. This would be followed by the song Fight It Back, Head Over Heels, Losing More Than You'll Ever Had, Love Child, Turn Me On, Losers and Winners, Guardian of the Night, and the ballad Winter Dreams. The next song will be Fight It Back. This is a fantastic song, especially the current version. They made it a lot heavier than the original. Udo and the boys were certainly having fun on stage. And the next song will be Head Over Heels. I think this is a really cool song. And this song has a vibe to the song Metal Heart. Another great song to hit the stage would be Losing More Than You've Ever Had. Now, for me, this kind of reminds me of the song by Accept, Princess of the Dawn. Like I said, Udo's music is very much inspired by Judas Priest, Saxon, and obviously hints of the Scorpions. I have to say that Udo's vocals are still as powerful as they were back in the day. And like Biff, Rob Halford, and all the other amazing singers, he's really looked after his voice. Next was the song Love Child. For me, this is a fantastic song. It takes me back to the early days of Saxon and Judas Priest. Both guitarists Dee and Alan are doing a fantastic job and work really well as a team. Next song the band played was a song called Turn Me On. Back in the day, this was a cult classic song, and it still has that vibe to it. It's a great song live, very heavy, very melodic, but yet powerful. Now, I've got to say, at the end of the set, for the full album its entirety, the band decided to finish with the cult classic, Fast as a Shark. As I said earlier, this is probably one of the most extreme, heavy songs that could be considered as thrash metal back in its day of 1982. And still to this day, it's the debate, which song was the first thrash song? That's a good question. Leave your comments, folks. Let me know which you think is the most potential thrash metal song ever. But I've got to say that the song Fast as a Shark was way above its time. And I've got to say that there was so much headbanging to this song. It finished on a high note, but Fast as a Shark, what a great song, folks. All in all, Udo Band did an absolute fantastic performance, playing some great songs, and the crowd were really behind them. The band had fun and had an excellent sound. So, folks, I suggest you go and check out Udo live. He's an amazing performer and has some great songs.